Hi there Libra, thank you for joining me for your monthly forecast for December. The month begins with one influence running on from last month, a square between Saturn and Neptune. That's very intense as this month begins, and also the Sun's involved in the complex energies of this too, because the Sun is side by side with Saturn as December starts. This suggests that you need to choose your words very carefully. You can be the natural diplomat of the zodiac, but with Mars in your sign, this is a month when you can be much more outspoken. But even if you want to assert your point of view or feel you have no choice but to make a stand in terms of defending your position, in these early days, a certain amount of care is going to be needed. Because Mercury is also in Sagittarius, along with the Sun and Saturn. And this can see your mind very fleet-footed, but it's forging a square with Jupiter in week 1. And the suggestion here is that you could blurt something out that perhaps is best left unsaid. So if you find yourself having to speak up about a particularly sensitive issue, especially as this month begins, just take a pause, a deep breath, and rehearse in your mind how it may play out with the people that you're trying to reach out to. Now on the 3rd of the month, there's also a quarter moon, which occurs in a very tender part of your horoscope. The potential for gossip and for a little bit of politics to wash around over the following weeks is actually quite strong. Again, it's all about being conscious about how our words and our actions and even our thought processes and our belief systems are viewed by other people. But not everybody may necessarily challenge you in a front-on way, and that's where the politics comes in, particularly at work. So trust, confidentiality, sincerity are all going to be issues as you go into this month. However, your ruling planet does move in a very positive way for you on the 5th, moving from your sign and into Scorpio. Now, right through to the 29th of December, this can prompt some unexpected financial fortune for you. It's also going to give you a greater sense of self when it comes to your personal sensuality. And it's always nice to feel that we're attractive and alluring, and I do feel that this is going to be something you're emanating out much more than you might appreciate in the days to follow. Now, Mars does remain in your sign, and that can be a good thing, but Mars in our own sign can almost see us try too hard. And one of the dangers is that we can almost overheat our systems. So chills and fevers can be a part of Mars moving through our own sign. And if you're in the northern hemisphere, obviously this can be a time of the year when these kind of things are going around anyway. So this may seem a strange piece of advice, but do be very careful to wash your hands really thoroughly so you're not picking up any infections, because Mars will really inflame them. However, Mars is going to be going into opposition with Uranus. Now, Uranus is in your opposite sign of Aries. It's very random here, but Mars in Libra is actually in detriment. It's not particularly comfortable because Mars, of course, is one of its 2 rulers. But I don't necessarily think that's something in itself you should worry too much about, because sometimes I feel Libran people can almost be too deferential, spend too much time worrying about the impact they're going to make on other people. And of course I have a Libran ascendant, so I can relate to this myself. But this opposition with Uranus can lead to some unexpected energies. You may find yourself being much more outspoken as the month goes on, particularly if you feel that someone isn't respecting your boundaries. And also, in week 2, the Sun forges a brilliant link with Uranus, suggesting that if you can think outside of the box and be much more imaginative in your approach to any particular aspect of your life, there's going to be a reward that can come from that. On the 10th of the month, however, Mercury does move out of that fleet-footed zone and into a much more reflective one, gliding into Capricorn. Now, this can make you a little bit inward looking and potentially even a bit defensive, so just bear that in mind. But there is a new moon on the 11th, and this new moon broadly picks up on Uranus, suggesting yeah, maybe it is time to think again about some of your ideas. Are they a bit outdated? Are you standing up for things that were basically taught into you when you were very young? The world's a fast changing place, and maybe it's time to have a think about how you can upgrade the way you connect with the world at large. In a more practical sense, technology, teaching, learning, training can all be areas that really grip your attention in this middle part of the month. Now on the 18th there's another quarter moon, but this time in Pisces. Again, it can be about this tendency that's been going on for some years now to want to be quite self-sacrificing towards other people, and particularly at work. But your nervous system is under a certain amount of pressure this month. So again, don't try too hard, pace yourself. On the 22nd, however, the Sun joins up with Mercury and Pluto in your home zone. So Christmas, I think for you, particularly with a full moon on Christmas Day, is going to be very much about going back to the people please inside of your nature. And although the Sun did briefly square up with Virgo towards the end of week 3, as you go into the Christmas festivities, I think it may be a time when sacrifice does become part of the bigger picture. But the great news is that Venus emerges into a wonderful part of your situation just as the year's coming to a close. And if you do want to attend any kind of function, you're going to be feeling much more outgoing, bubbly, and your conversation, even if there have been some tensions at earlier parts of the month, could actually have a telling impact on someone you talk to on New Year's Eve. It's been a real pleasure being with you. Thank you for joining me. Good luck, happy Christmas, and goodbye for now.